Imagine angels sent from heaven to guide humanity, but instead they rebelled. The Book of Enoch tells their story, a story of forbidden knowledge, giant offspring, and divine judgment. These angels, known as the Watchers, changed the course of human history. For centuries their tale was hidden, removed from most versions of the Bible. But today we uncover the full story, step by step. If you've ever wondered what happens when angels defy God, comment "I want to know" below. The Watchers were angels assigned to watch over humanity. Their role, according to the Book of Enoch, was to guide humans, protect them, and ensure the world followed divine order. But as we'll see, some angels fell from grace and disobeyed the Creator. The Book of Enoch, in chapter 6, says, "And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the sons of heaven, saw and lusted after them. And they said to one another, Come, let us choose wives for ourselves from among the children of men, and beget us children." This passage marks the beginning of their fall. In most religious texts, angels are portrayed as messengers or warriors of God, existing to serve the divine plan without question. The Watchers, however, had a unique, almost supervisory role over early humanity. They were celestial guardians, meant to observe and report, not to interfere. But this proximity to humanity seems to have been their undoing. Their story raises profound questions about the nature of free will, even among divine beings. Was it their close contact with humanity that sparked their rebellion? Could the beauty and fragility of human life have stirred something within them that was not supposed to be there? This wasn't a sudden decision by one rogue angel. The texts suggest it was a pact, a conspiracy among a group of 200 watchers, led by one named Samyaza. They descended upon Mount Hermon, a place that would forever be associated with their forbidden oath. This act of choosing to procreate with humans was a direct violation of cosmic law, a blurring of the lines between the divine and the mortal. It represented a fundamental break from their purpose. Why do you think some angels would rebel? Could curiosity lead to corruption? The rebellion of the Watchers was not just about desire. They taught humans forbidden knowledge, secrets meant only for heaven. The Book of Enoch lists these illicit teachings in great detail. One of the lead rebels, an angel named Azazel, is credited with introducing humanity to the art of war. Chapter 8 says, "And Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates, and to use metals to forge weapons of war. And he showed them the secrets of enchantments and the cutting of roots. This was a profound and devastating gift. Before this, human conflict might have been rudimentary. Now they had the means for organized, deadly warfare. But it didn't stop there. Other Watchers taught humans about cosmetics, which was seen as a form of deception. Astrology, which encouraged them to seek guidance from the stars instead of God. And various forms of magic, sorcery, and divination. Think about the implications. Metallurgy, a skill that could build civilizations, was first used to create tools for killing. Knowledge of the cosmos, which could inspire awe, was used to predict futures that were not meant to be known. These teachings fundamentally altered human society. Civilization advanced rapidly, but at a terrible moral cost. The world became filled with violence, deceit, and a turn away from divine guidance. This knowledge was forbidden precisely because humanity was not ready for it. It was like giving a child a loaded weapon. The power it offered was too great, and the wisdom to use it responsibly was absent. The divine order was shattered, replaced by a world driven by power, vanity, and bloodshed. If you could learn any forbidden knowledge, would you? Comment below. The Watchers' greatest transgression was taking human wives. Their offspring were the Nephilim, giants who dominated the earth with extraordinary strength and violence. These were not simply tall humans. They were described as beings of immense size and power, a hybrid race born from the union of divine angels and mortal women. Their existence was an abomination, a physical manifestation of the Watchers' sin. The Book of Enoch describes them consuming all of humanity's resources. When that wasn't enough, they turned on humans themselves, and then on each other. The giants brought unprecedented chaos and destruction. The world, already corrupted by forbidden knowledge, now suffered under the physical tyranny of these monstrous beings. They were a force of pure consumption and violence, leaving a trail of devastation wherever they went. Their spirits, according to Enoch, were destined to remain on earth after their physical death, becoming the evil spirits that would plague humanity for ages to come. Chapter 7 says, "And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind." This story of giants born from gods and mortals isn't unique to Enoch. We see parallels in Greek mythology with the Titans, the powerful deities who were overthrown by the Olympians. In Norse myths, we have the Jotun or frost giants, who were the enemies of the gods. Even within the Bible itself, in the book of Genesis, there's a brief, cryptic mention of the Nephilim right before the story of Noah's flood, suggesting this narrative was once more widely known. Could these giants be real? Or are they symbolic warnings about the abuse of power? The cries of a suffering humanity eventually reached heaven. The archangels Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down upon the earth and saw the bloodshed and lawlessness caused by the Watchers and their offspring. They brought the case before God, who then passed judgment. God judged the Watchers for their rebellion. Enoch describes their punishment in vivid detail: imprisonment in darkness, separation from heaven, and eternal binding until the final day of judgment. The punishment was severe and specific to each of the leading fallen angels. The Book of Enoch, chapter 10, says, "And again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azazel's hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, and let him remain there forever." Samyaza and his followers were also bound and cast into the abyss, forced to watch the destruction of their own children, the Nephilim, before their imprisonment. This judgment wasn't just punitive. It was a restoration of order. It was also the catalyst for the great flood. God declared that the earth had to be cleansed of the corruption and violence that had consumed it. Noah was chosen to preserve life while the floodwaters would wash away the giants and the blood-soaked world they had created. This narrative frames the great flood not just as a punishment for human sin, but as a necessary cosmic reset to erase the Watchers' terrible legacy. What does this tell us about the consequences of defiance? Comment your thoughts. Stories of fallen divine beings, powerful giants, and a world-cleansing flood appear across cultures. Could the Watcher's story have influenced these myths worldwide? The parallels are fascinating. We've mentioned the Greek Titans and Norse Jotun. Many ancient cultures have stories of a golden age that was ruined by the transgression of gods or heroes. leading to a lesser, more difficult age for humanity. The myth of Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans, is another powerful echo. Like the Watchers, he gave humanity forbidden knowledge, and for it, he was severely punished by Zeus. Flood myths are also nearly universal. From the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia to the stories of Manu in India and Deucalion in Greece, we see tales of a global deluge sent by gods to punish a corrupted world with only a few chosen survivors. The presence of giants or monstrous beings is often a key feature in the events leading up to these cataclysms. It's possible that these stories all spring from a common, ancient source, a shared memory of a traumatic prehistoric event interpreted through different cultural lenses. Whether it's the Watchers, the Titans, or other beings, the theme is consistent. When the lines between the divine and the mortal are crossed, and when forbidden power is abused, the result is chaos that requires a dramatic world-altering intervention. Do you think these myths are inspired by real events? Share your thoughts in the comments. The story of the Watchers is a cautionary tale about power, knowledge, and temptation. Angels walking among humans, teaching forbidden arts, and creating giants. It's a story that continues to inspire and terrify. It fills in the gaps left by more mainstream texts, offering a dramatic and detailed explanation for the origin of evil, the reason for the Great Flood, and the continued presence of spiritual conflict in the world. The Book of Enoch reminds us that some truths are hidden for a reason. Real or symbolic, the rebellion of the Watchers challenges everything we think we know about human history, morality, and divine law. It suggests that our ancient past was far more dramatic and complex than we can imagine, a battleground for forces both human and divine. It's a powerful narrative that, despite being left out of most Bibles, has refused to be forgotten. If this video revealed new secrets for you, subscribe for the rest of our Book of Enoch series. And remember, some mysteries are stranger than fiction. Comment your theory. Were the Watchers real angels, symbolic beings, or something else entirely? Thanks for watching.